It's no accident that sounds like you're leveling up in a video game. 48% of 18 to 29-year-olds have an online dating profile.
Make them work for it.
45% of people say they're more frustrated with this form of dating than hopeful.
There are so many people you can connect with.
Should I swipe right?
Swipe wrong. Swipe wrong. Setting the record straight on dating apps. Everyday people telling everyday stories of the swipe right world with your host, Chaos.
Well, I know he had a good time.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Whenever you are listening to us, we appreciate it. Welcome to the number one podcast amongst everybody who has lost their hearing aids. You are listening to the Swipe Wrong podcast. I am Chaos. I am the guy who is really lucky enough to be able to sit back and catch some of the stories of some of the madness that's going on. All we're trying to do is catch everyday people telling their everyday stories of the swipe right world. And we've been over the past, I guess, season and a quarter, I guess is where we're at right now, with a bunch of in-between bonus material and some extra shows in there. Really been lucky to hear some pretty interesting and crazy tales, even the start of so far this season. You guys hopefully have enjoyed what we put together so far. We're always looking to, I feel like I'm talking to somebody new every day about the show and catching some new stories, but I want to hear everybody's. I want to hear as many as we possibly can, because if I get to hear them, you get to hear them, and you all get to kind of jaw drop and go, sweet, I'm not the only one who is going through some of this. Now, just because most people's experiences that we bring to you aren't always positive ones, a little bit of the crazy, because you got to know that you're not the only one attracting the crazy, as we like to say. There's still some good ones, but we're also not numb to the fact that it is Valentine's week, and as this show drops the day before Valentine's Day, we know there's a lot of love in the air. So, of course, what we had to do is we had to talk to some people you guys have heard before and some people you haven't quite heard from yet, but we'll soon to hear from over the next couple of weeks, and some of their Valentine's Day stories. And, it's interesting kind of if you look back and you like, if you really break down Valentine's Day and love, and like Cupid is, the one that comes to mind. And like, I started like just kind of looking into Cupid a little bit, and I'm like the stuff I found out about him is, dude was a troublemaker. Like he wasn't like the nicest, most optimistic dude on the planet. He was kind of a big jerk face. He used love in most cases as a form of punishment, with a broken heart being the fatal wound. And I'm pretty sure, most people listening to the pod have been like, yeah, broken heart, fatal wound, totally get it. And even though there was this fatal wound, and even though he had this power, the dude was like you couldn't kill him. He was kind of a badass, and even though people knew it might happen, he was still one of the most popular people on the planet. People still wanted him around because they wanted to go through the experience of love, even if it ended up being a broken heart, which, how can you blame them? Like, it's kind of the coolest feeling on the planet. And I think as a lot of us will end up going through, like, I would much rather go through it and have the awesome experience of it than and see what happens afterwards than not. All right. So happy Valentine's Day. Hopefully whatever is happening in your life, you have some sort of great epic Valentine's experience. We'd love to hear that. And if it's an epic fail, we'd love to hear that too. So as I mentioned, you're going to hear some stories. I think we have 4 from 2 that that you've heard from episodes past, and I think 2 that you haven't quite heard from yet, but you'll hear from shortly. Pretty quick, not too big, but no matter what, from us here at the Swipe Wrong podcast, Jay and myself, Hope you have a fantastic, awesome, amazing Valentine's Day. Whether you are sitting at home with a glass of wine and enjoying your favorite rom-com, or you're having a night on the town with some insane love making later on, doesn't matter. However you hope to have it, I hope it works out that way for you, and it's amazing for you. We hope it's amazing for you, no matter what that looks like. So, you know the drill. Sit back, put your feet up, grab your popcorn, relax, enjoy. If you are in traffic, don't hit that person next to you. And let's enjoy our Valentine special. And one more word, of course, from the quote-unquote legal department.
Disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the speaker and do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions or any entities they represent. This podcast is about dating experiences. It is not to say one dating app is better or worse than another.
There was a guy that sent me flowers on Valentine's Day for work, and we'd only been out on one date.
Oh, wow.
And it was nice,
Sweet.
but it was a little like everybody at work was like, I know you're dating buddy. Who are these from? What's going on here? And I was like, I didn't either. Like, you know, like, we hadn't really connected. We went out one date. Like, I wasn't really sure I wanted to go on a second one. Like, we hadn't kissed, like any of that. So it was a little bit like, really, you sent me flowers at work?
Wow.
But
No shit.
Valentine's.
That's coming up. Yeah. It's just
Oh,
coming up.
I got dumped last year on Valentine's Day.
What?
Oh yeah, that was also a real cool way to go.
Oh, girl.
Yeah, this was an interesting one too. So I won't say his name. He I mean, I've had some doozies.
Evidently.
This was also a guy I was involved with for quite a while, and we were exclusively dating. And I say exclusively dating because they all say we're exclusive, but
Yeah, for sure.
we were exclusively dating. But again, my intuition kind of said, I don't know, something feels off here. So I was out watching the Super Bowl, and a girlfriend of mine is single and she's on Bumble. So she was swiping through, and guess who we saw on Bumble? We saw the guy I was dating.
No way.
And so I took a screenshot of her app, the picture from her phone, and I sent it to him on Valentine's Day morning.
Oh.
And I said, maybe we should talk about this. And of course, I'm so sorry. I was just looking at blah, 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 blah. I'm going to come over tonight. We'll talk about it. And so we ended up I said, you know what, if you're looking, then that's a sign that this isn't going anywhere.
Yeah,
It's been long enough that you should know. And I should know. And we both didn't know. So that was an epic Valentine's.
Guys are fucking stupid. I swear to God. Like, I know I'm one, but we're the dumbest. Like, you get male ego, you get keyboard courage and anonymity in there. Fucking curtains. It's over.
I know. That's
All
okay.
right.
This year is bound to be better.
Do you have a good or a bad Valentine's story?
I have a really good one.
You have a good. Okay, so it's a good, like, and by good or bad, I don't mean, are you about to tell me something lame? I mean, like, is it a great date or a bad date? Like, I guess that's what I mean.
Oh, a good date.
A good date. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So lay it all out for me.
Okay, so I was going on a second date with a guy I met on Hinge.
Okay.
And at the time, Hinge was just like an app that you go on like Tinder, but they would match you based on like who you had in common on like friends in common on like Facebook or something.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. So
How long ago was this?
this
Roughly.
was 2014.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's probably like not even like a year back on the dating scene after getting divorced.
Okay.
And I met this guy, and then we had a first date, and it was great. So it just so happened that Valentine's Day was like the next time, we'd go out on a date. And so he was really sweet and like picked me up. Or no, I'm sorry. No, he didn't pick me up. He met me at my place, and then I had a Tacoma at the time, and
I remember that.
the white Tacoma,
Mhm.
and like total fascination with Pinterest. And I saw a date idea where like you could go to like the beach or whatever, and or not the beach, but you can go camp and like do like sleeping bags in the back of like a pickup truck, and like you do like all these like candles and stuff, and then like you can like bring a picnic or whatever. So that's what we did. Like we drove off to the base of Palos Verdes Peninsula, which was like this gorgeous spot for anyone who isn't familiar, but it's like the ocean's right there and it butts up against the peninsula, and it kind of reminds me of like Positano, Italy. And just kind of like with the lights and everything. And we went at sunset, and like he brought like champagne and like pasta, and like he packs like everything, and wine and like extra candles, and like a big bouquet of flowers, and like like it was like a card and a present, and it was so nice and just so thoughtful for like a second date, because I get that guys don't want to go all out on like like women that aren't like their long-term girlfriends or anything, but
right.
I was really impressed. I was like, that's so great.
Wow. Like this was, so how did you not marry him?
Well, oh man, he was great for a while, and then he kind of like let me down after like a few more dates when I had to like go to the dentist and get like a root canal, and I needed like a ride back, and like he totally dropped the ball, and I was like, oh man, I was like, okay.
This guy, you know what his problem was? He set the bar so high on date 2 that it was just all downhill from there.
Yeah. Not a good strategy.
Yeah. Well, Valentine's Day is coming up, so like if there's date number 2 for me or anything like that, I think I'm just gonna go, hey, here's a Twix.
Like wrap it in a red bow.
Okay, all right, Twix in a red bow, because the saying is there's nothing 2 sticks of Twix can't fix. So
I like that saying. I bet you came up with that.
It was on the commercial, but yes, I'm using it a little different. That's all. All right, so that's a good one. That's really good though. You guys camped out?
Actually, just for like a couple hours we were down there, and it just so happened there were people on the beach with like these like drones, and they're doing like a light show. So they're
that's cool.
Doing this whole thing. So not only are we sitting there looking at the ocean, and the sun had already set, and we're like warm, and we're eating like the best Italian food and drinking like the best wine, but like there's like this spontaneous like little light show going on with the drones, and
wow.
It was so neat. It was beautiful.
That's awesome. That's cool.
Yeah.
So, all right, and so then I love that one.
Been a really has been really lucky for me. Like even a guy that I hadn't even gone on a date with, he sent me flowers. Like I hadn't even met him. We hadn't gone on a date, and Valentine's Day happened. This was last year. Valentine's Day was coming up, and he sent me like balloons and flowers and like and chocolate. And I like hadn't met him yet, and I was like,
dang, that's my sister.
Yeah, and he still tells me
Yeah.
how like I'm like his everything and all this stuff.
You're like, it's just another one of those.
Yeah. I'm like, I'll see you next Valentine's Day.
Coming up, time to expect it, sis.
I will clear out space on my desk for your flowers to arrive.
You're gonna have to take a picture of all the flowers you get on Valentine's Day.
I might jinx it, not get any, but
yeah, that's fair. You and I have talked before, and we were talking the other day, and Valentine's Day is coming up, and this Cupid guy likes to shoot people and make people go all crazy. And I believe like you have some sort of Valentine's like maybe situation you ran into. Is that correct?
Yeah, the holidays, everybody calls it cuffing season. It's funny. I had never heard about cuffing season until like recently. Like I didn't even know it was a thing. So,
tell me about this. Well, tell me and anyone else who may not know what cuffing season is.
Well, I didn't realize it was a thing. Like I said, I didn't realize it was a thing till recently. But it makes sense. Single people this time of year, Christmas time, they want to latch on and cuff it up, if you will, handcuff yourself for the holidays. So obviously Valentine's Day is like right in line, like you said, with the Cupid guy. But yeah, over the years, I've tried to get creative when I've been dating with Valentine's Day. And there was a chick that I had dated off and on for a while. And it was, when you have those relationships that when they're good, they're really good. And then other times the vibe is like way, way off in the other way, way, way off. And it's like, 100%. Is this two different people? Like, what are we doing here? So this chick was kind of like that. And to my knowledge, she didn't have any type of mental disorders or anything. So it wasn't one of those situations. It was just this chick was kind of weird. And she bounced from, without a better way to say it, personality to personality. I don't know, man. I mean, there's some people out there that they've, the Batman reference is legit two-faced.
Legit. Yeah, for sure.
What are they?
For sure. Well, where did you meet this one?
Well, that's, I think, maybe one of the reasons why I hung around as long as I did. That's the rub here. So my sister inadvertently knew this chick, and I don't remember how we met, what side it was, but she went to school with my sister. My sister was in nursing school, and so was this chick. So they ended up knowing each other. And once we realized that we had a mutual friend who I was related to, I think that kind of kickstarted the relationship to that, like it was past the introduction phase. It was like, oh, I'm good friends with this dude's sister. Like I can just go to her for all the story stuff. So it wasn't like your typical, you meet someone, you connect with someone, and then you build that over time. She was seeing my sister 3 or 4 days a week in college.
Okay.
So they're talking fucking nonstop.
That accelerates things, bro. That accelerates things.
Well, and my sister and I, as you know, were super tight.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm thinking, fuck, I must be like really in with this chick because Meg's is probably popping off, and my sister and I were really close. So it's not like she's crushing me. She's fucking building me up better than I am. And I'm like an all right dude.
Beyond all right, bro. Beyond all right.
Well, I try to be modest. But anyway, so it had been on and off for a little while. And I think in the beginning when we had connected, she was either getting out of a relationship. Like, I don't remember that. This was a while back, so I don't remember the specifics of it all. But it was consistent enough that we had Valentine's Day dinner plans, right?
Damn.
Cuffing season, if you will.
Yeah, right.
So she liked this little Italian joint. So we went out to dinner at a little Italian spot, and there was a show that she had talked about wanting to go see that was later on in the summer. And the tickets had gone on sale like 2 weeks prior to Valentine's Day. So I had picked up a set of tickets. It's kind of like I'm not a flowers guy, and I don't do a lot of sweets, so chocolate's not up my alley either. I was like, oh, this will be kind of a cool little thing. Her and I can go to this concert. We'll have a nice dinner, like hopefully get it in. Happy Valentine's Day. And on Valentine's Day, I pick her up. She gets in the car. And it was one of those, the vibe was way, way off days. So the whole way to dinner, I'm in my brain like, oh no. How is this going to go? Right? We're going to have Valentine's dinner. It's like this romantic setting. And I'm getting the vibe that like this chick straight up just doesn't dig me.
Oh no.
So what do you do? Like I don't know.
I don't know that you can abort, bro. Like I don't know if there's an abort that can happen. I mean, it's like she already knows the whole plan, right?
There's no Irish goodbye. Well, she didn't know about the tickets.
She didn't know about tickets. Oh, okay.
That was like my surprise. Like, hey, by the way, happy Valentine's Day. Like,
gotcha.
Bang. So yeah. So on the way to dinner, like I'm thinking, all right, I was gonna like dinner would be over. Do you want to come back to my place? Hey, by the way, I thought this would be a cool little happy Valentine's Day, or whatever.
Right.
You don't really rehearse that shit. You just kind of, well, maybe I should have rehearsed it for this evening.
There's definitely a vibe check for that.
Yeah, no shit. But anyway, so we finished dinner and I'm walking out to the car with her and like we're having this weird conversation and I'm like, hey, are we cool? Like I feel like dinner was a little sideways. I just want to make sure we can clear the air here. Because I'm in the mind, I'm like, I want to give you these fucking tickets before we totally lose this evening and try to reel this shit back in so we can have a good time. She kind of like shrugs it off like, oh, I don't know. And I'm like, all right, hold on. Well, hey, listen, if you're having a rough day or whatever, hopefully this will cheer you up. And I give her the tickets. It's like, I picked these up. I know you talked about wanting to go see this show. And I thought we could go, in June or whatever it is. It's concert season. And she almost gets angry.
What?
She looks at him and she's like, oh, she kind of scoffs it off and shrugs. It's like, oh. So we're standing by a car and I'm like, hey, can you like tell me what's going on here? Like, it's Valentine's Day. We're out at this nice restaurant. It's your favorite spot. And like, I got you tickets to a show you really said you wanted to go see. I thought we could do that. And I just get this vibe that like, you didn't want to be here. And she like, again, imagine she's angry. Kind of tells me that her and her ex had a place together and they broke up and their lease wasn't up, but it was almost up. And she had already moved into her place and he couldn't find a place. And she was going to let him stay with her for 2 weeks until he could find another place. And she was worried about all this because she didn't know how to tell me, but she also wanted to let me know that she kind of sort of thinks maybe they might try to get back together.
Oh my God.
But he's a dickhead, but he's going to be on her couch for 2 weeks and it's going to be weird. And she doesn't know how to tell me that she doesn't want to see me right now because it's bad timing.
Bro.
Happy Valentine's Day.
What is she doing going out with you on Valentine's Day? If all that stuff, I don't understand. I mean, I don't understand that part of it. I don't understand. So how many times had you been out with her, bud?
Let's see. We talked quite a bit over text. Again, the relationship with my sister, I felt like was my in on that. And she had never indicated the ex was still in the picture or whatever.
Sure,
we had probably gone out a handful of times, I don't know, five, 6 times. Like it was enough times that I felt comfortable like, hey, do you want to go to a show together?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I mean, I think the key question here is what happened to those tickets?
Oh, I took somebody else.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Oh man, I mean, she's going back to her dude. I didn't know she said it took the tickets and took him, or if you ended up with if you handed them to her and she ran like it was they were all for her and she was going to do what she wanted.
Well, like I asked her very specifically, like, listen, I mean, I didn't dislike the artist, but it's not like my first pick,
right?
And it's like, what do you want to do here? What?
Oh man,
I don't know. What do you want to do? Like, it'd probably be weird if we went together, and it's like we ain't going together.
Oh, bro,
all that, and then it was like, I sure as fuck aren't giving you these, and then you're taking your dude with you. Like,
yeah,
I'll go.
Yeah. No, of course, I didn't know she snatched up, bro. Happy Valentine's Day.
Yeah, I've never been a big fan of Valentine's Day. I think it's kind of dumb, but I also can appreciate when you're courting someone,
sure,
in a relationship, just trying to be sweet and considerate and all that fun stuff, and be sappy. And like I think I can get down on the romance with the best of them when I really want to get to it, but I don't think you need a special day for that stuff.
Thank you for being along for the ride on the Swipe Wrong podcast, where we take everyday people like you and me telling their everyday stories of their swipe right life. Show is produced by Jay Pelham. He is the host of Pelham Place. If you want to reach out to the show and tell us your story, we'd love to hear it. Give us a call. Google Voice us at 317-426-6616. Leave your information and we'll get back to you, or just your story. You can also email us at swipewrongpod@gmail.com. We are on Insta, Facebook, TikTok. We're out there. I am Chaos, the host of Chaotic Commentary. You can find me pretty much anywhere that you see me. And next week, the saga continues.
Swipe wrong. Swipe wrong.